All right, my cosmic navigators, let's zoom in on an energetic pattern many of us, perhaps even Alexei, find ourselves caught in at some point. It's what I call the eclipse of negativity, and it's a powerful force that can completely obscure your inner light and block your manifestation flow. Picture Alexei right now. He's deep in the grind. His days a relentless loop of routine, and his internal dialogue? A constant low-frequency hum of dissatisfaction. He's operating from a place of profound energetic lack, perpetually scanning his environment for what's missing. That elusive promotion, the ideal relationship that always seems just beyond his grasp, the financial stability that feels perpetually out of reach. These aren't just desires, they've become the focal points of his energetic output, amplifying what he doesn't have. His inner world is a relentless echo chamber of criticism and complaint. The traffic, his boss, the lukewarm coffee, the perceived unfairness of it all. Each thought, each muttered word is a vibrational broadcast of discontent. And what do you think that amplifies back into his reality? More reasons to complain. This isn't just a bad mood, my friends. This is a consistent energetic signature, draining his life force, dimming his aura, and keeping him tethered to a low vibrational frequency. He's caught in the classic victimhood loop, convinced that circumstances are simply happening to him, rather than recognizing his innate power to co-create his experience. This deep-seated belief system, this internal eclipse, is so pervasive that he genuinely can't perceive any exit strategy, any path to rewrite his script. It's a heavy, energetic burden, making the universe feel less like a canvas of infinite possibilities and more like an escapable trap. And yet, this very point of deep dissatisfaction often precedes the most profound breakthroughs if only we learn to shift our energetic focus. All right, let's zoom in on a pivotal moment, a turning point that many of us have experienced on our journey to vibrational alignment. Picture this, Alexei navigating what felt like an endless energetic swamp. The kind of days where the cosmic currents just seemed to drag him deeper, where every effort felt like swimming against an invisible, powerful tide. His spirit was dimming, and the once vibrant hues of his inner world were fading into a monochrome of sheer exhaustion. He was teetering on that precarious edge where the familiar landscape of struggle starts to feel like a permanent residence, and the spark of hope flickers precariously low. It was in this very space, this quiet, almost desperate pause, that the universe delivered a whisper. Not a booming prophecy, but a subtle frequency shift, a gentle nudge disguised as serendipity. Perhaps it was a podcast, its host's voice cutting through the static of his own mental chatter, speaking of something seemingly too simple to be true. Maybe it was a passage in a book, a page flipping open at just the right moment. Or a friend, recognizing the energetic drain, offering a piece of wisdom gleaned from their own journey. The message, regardless of its vessel, was clear, yet almost jarring in its simplicity. The transformative power of gratitude. Now, Alexei's logical mind, steeped in the complexities of his current reality, naturally rebelled. Gratitude? When the world felt like it was doing its best to pull him under. It felt naive, almost childish. How could such a basic concept possibly untangle the intricate knots of his despair? It was like being handed a single feather and told to fly after a lifetime of feeling gravity's relentless pull. His inner dialogue, a common one, I assure you, was questioning the very energetic integrity of the suggestion.
But here's where the magic truly begins, where the cosmic blueprint of his own resilience started to assert itself. Being on the precipice of utter surrender, when all other conventional strategies had yielded little, he made a radical choice. He decided to suspend his disbelief, to silence the cynical whispers of his ego, and to engage with this concept as a pure, unadulterated cosmic experiment. It wasn't about expecting a miracle overnight. It was about opening a tiny energetic window, just in case. He chose to give it a chance, to see if there was any truth to this seemingly audacious claim. The instruction was beautifully straightforward, a perfect entry point into a new energetic practice. Each day, commit to consciously identifying and writing down 3 distinct things for which he was genuinely, truly grateful. Not surface-level acknowledgments, mind you, but a deep, authentic feeling of appreciation, even if it had to be painstakingly unearthed from beneath layers of doubt and emotional clutter. This wasn't just journaling, this was a deliberate act of vibrational recalibration, an invitation to shift his focus, to gently but firmly redirect his internal compass towards the light. He was stepping into his power, even if he didn't fully realize it yet, by consciously choosing where to place his energetic attention. And in that choice, a spark, however tiny, was ignited. All right, my cosmic navigators, let's zoom in on a journey that many of you are either on right now or will soon embark upon. We've set the intention, we've heard the call of gratitude, that powerful frequency shift that promises to unlock new dimensions. But as anyone who's ever tried to consciously repattern their energetic blueprint knows, the path isn't always a direct sprint. Sometimes it's a marathon through the murky waters of our own conditioned resistance. And that, my friends, is exactly where we find Alex, fresh off our last cosmic briefing, armed with a journal and a newfound, albeit tentative, commitment. He started, which is the first, most crucial power move in any transformational journey. He picked up the pen, felt the weight of the blank page, and began. But let's be real, those initial entries weren't exactly flowing with profound spiritual epiphanies. They were, to be frank, a little sparse. "I'm grateful for coffee," he'd scrawl, the words feeling almost sarcastic as he wrote them. "Grateful for waking up. Grateful for a quiet moment." It was the bare minimum, a checkbox exercise, and honestly, a testament to how deeply ingrained those old low-frequency patterns of expectation and dissatisfaction can be. He was going through the motions, yes, but the feeling, that deep, resonant hum of true appreciation, hadn't quite landed yet. It was like trying to tune in to a new radio station and only getting static and a faint, distant melody. And that, my friends, is where the real work begins. Because as soon as you step onto a path of conscious energetic upgrade, your inner resistance, that ancient reptilian part of your brain that thrives on predictability, even if that predictability is misery, starts to scream. For Alexei, his inner critic wasn't just whispering, it was a full-blown accusatory chorus. "This is pointless, Alexei. What a waste of time. You're just writing down platitudes. Nothing's actually changing. You're still stuck in the same old grind." It was the voice of doubt, of cynicism, of every limiting belief he'd ever held about himself and the universe. This isn't just an internal monologue, it's an energetic friction, a lower vibration trying to pull you back into its familiar, if uncomfortable, gravity well. It's the universe testing your resolve, challenging you to prove that you're truly ready to embody a higher frequency. And as if on cue, the universe, in its infinite wisdom, began to present Alexei with exactly the kind of vibrational challenges designed to trigger those old patterns. A minor setback at work became a major crisis in his mind, threatening to unravel his fragile commitment to gratitude. A miscommunication with a loved one, a traffic jam, a spilled coffee, each minor irritation became a cosmic invitation to revert to his default setting, frustration, complaint, and a deep sigh of, "Why me?" These weren't random events. These were precisely calibrated opportunities to choose his response, to consciously step out of the reactive loop and into a space of proactive alignment. He felt the familiar surge of irritation, the tightening in his chest, the urge to vent, to complain, to spiral into that comforting narrative of victimhood. It was so easy, so familiar, so available. But here's where the magic, the true power of commitment begins to manifest. Deep down, beneath the static of his inner critic and the roar of external provocations, Alexei remembered the cosmic challenge. He remembered the intention he'd set, the whisper of a possibility that this time things could be different. He felt the pull back to his old ways, but he also felt the subtle, nascent tug of a new energetic current. And he chose to lean into that new current. He still struggled, yes. His entries in the journal might not have transformed into poetic odes overnight, but he persisted. He pushed through the awkwardness, the self-consciousness, the feeling of futility. He continued to show up, pen in hand, even if it was just to write, "I'm grateful I'm still trying." This, my friends, is not just Alexei's story. It's a universal blueprint for navigating any significant energetic shift. The initial resistance, the inner critic's roar, the external tests, these are not roadblocks. They are signposts. They are confirmation that you are indeed pushing against old paradigms, that you are actively upgrading your frequency. Your power, your true cosmic power, lies not in the absence of these challenges, but in your unwavering commitment to show up anyway, to choose the higher vibration, even when every fiber of your old self is screaming for you to quit. Alexei is learning, step by often clumsy step, that gratitude isn't just a feeling. It's a practice, a discipline, a conscious act of energetic repatterning that, over time, changes everything. And he's just getting started. The universe isn't doing this to him. It's doing this for him, inviting him to claim his power. And that, my friends, is the heart of true alignment. All right, cosmic navigators, let's talk about the incredible ripple effect of a conscious shift in perception and how it literally rewrites your energetic script. We often imagine these profound transformations as sudden, dramatic lightning bolts, right? But the truth is, the most powerful shifts often begin as a gentle, almost imperceptible energetic flow. A subtle retuning of your internal radio dial until suddenly the whole universe sounds different. Think of it like this: your perspective is the lens through which you filter reality, and when you consciously choose to polish that lens with gratitude, everything changes. Let's look at a powerful example of this in action. Consider someone like Alexei. For a while, perhaps he was caught in the usual energetic currents, focusing on what was missing, what wasn't working, the daily grind. But then an intentional pivot began. It wasn't a grand earth-shattering moment. It was far more subtle, a quiet internal revolution. He started to notice, not just intellectually acknowledge, but truly feel the energetic resonance of the small things.
The genuine warmth in a stranger's smile as he walked down the street. The unexpected, vibrant burst of sunlight piercing through the clouds on an otherwise gray morning. A colleague, unasked, offering a moment of genuine help or a kind word. These weren't just random occurrences. These were the universe reflecting his nascent energetic shift, presenting him with micro moments of pure, unadulterated positive frequency. This wasn't about denying challenges. It was about actively choosing where to place his energetic focus. His entire worldview, his internal operating system, started to undergo a profound upgrade. He became more open, more receptive to the inherent goodness that exists all around us, often just beneath the surface of our hurried lives. This newfound openness naturally spilled over into his communication. Imagine the difference. When you approach an interaction from a place of seeking what is positive, what is valuable, what you can appreciate in another person, the entire dynamic shifts. He started seeing and truly valuing the positive aspects in people and situations, rather than instinctively zeroing in on perceived flaws or potential problems. This isn't about rose-tinted glasses, it's about activating your energetic discernment to gravitate towards higher vibrations. And the universal law of attraction, my friends, always responds. As Alexei continued to consciously choose gratitude and openness, his external reality began to mirror his internal landscape. At work, new opportunities, previously unseen or perhaps even unavailable, started to emerge. Doors that once seemed closed began to open, not because the external circumstances magically changed overnight, but because his energetic frequency had aligned him with a different set of possibilities, a different manifestation window. His relationships with loved ones, which might have felt strained or stagnant, began to visibly warm. Why? Because he was no longer unconsciously projecting a critical lens onto their perceived shortcomings. He was seeing them, truly seeing them, through a filter of appreciation and understanding, and that energetic offering was reciprocated. This is your cosmic invitation, your opportunity to rewrite the script of your own reality simply by choosing gratitude as your foundational frequency. Your power lies in how you choose to perceive. All right, cosmic navigators, let's talk about what happens when you truly commit to gratitude, not as a fleeting practice, but as the very bedrock of your energetic existence. Imagine Alexei for a moment. He shifted. He moved beyond merely listing things he was thankful for. He infused every breath, every interaction, every moment with that profound sense of appreciation. And what happened? His entire energetic foundation solidified. It's like he upgraded his internal operating system to a higher frequency instantly. The result? A palpable surge of energy, a wellspring of unshakable joy, and an inner calm that resonated deep within his core. This isn't about avoiding life's challenges, my friends. Let's be clear, the universe will always present opportunities for growth. But Alexei's capacity to meet those challenges head-on, to navigate the choppiest waters with grace and resilience, skyrocketed. He wasn't immune to problems, but his vibrational alignment meant he could process them, learn from them, and move through them with an entirely new level of mastery. And here's where the magic truly unfolds, where the universe starts to respond to your upgraded signal. Alexei became a magnet. He started attracting more positive events, more supportive people, opportunities that seemed to materialize out of thin air. He wasn't passively waiting for good things, he was actively calling them in through his elevated state of being. He understood deeply that by consciously shifting his focus, by truly living in gratitude, he wasn't just observing his life, he was actively rewriting his own cosmic script. He wasn't waiting for abundance, he was manifesting it, not as some distant goal, but as the inevitable outcome of his aligned energetic blueprint. This is your power, my friends. This is how you co-create your reality.